topic is continuing on from what we've been talking about regarding change. Change is good. Change is good for you. Change is good for your situation in life. Change is good for your surroundings. By you changing your mind, changing your outlook, you're able to see things from a different perspective. You're able to see things from a different outcome. So this morning we are going to go right into our discussion. Change of opinion. That is our devotion topic this morning. Change of opinion. You can always change your opinion because of something you've gone through, because of something you faced, because of something you have experienced. You can change your opinion. You can change your opinion about some people. You can change your opinion about God. You can change your opinion about the decisions that you make in life, just based off of your own personal understanding. See, when we look at changing your opinion, we're looking at different things that is incorporated to that change. We look at things that we can't control. We look at things that we just can't, we cannot uh, understand. Before we go into this, you guys hold on 1 minute. Give me 1 second. Be right back. Okay, thank you for holding. Now, let's pray. Father God, we just want to thank you for your love and your mercy. Thank you for your guidance, your protection. We thank you, Lord, for keeping us safe, dear Lord. We ask you, Lord, that you will continue to walk with us, continue to strengthen us and bless us, dear Father. Continue to guide us, dear Father God. Continue to keep us safe under your protective wings. Lord, we just want to lift you up and put you before all others. Father God, we just give you all the glory and all the honor. Thank you for giving us the opinions in our lives to shape us, mold us, and helps us to be better people. Lord, we love you and we thank you in Christ's name. Amen. All right, change of opinion. One thing that we are always given as human beings, as individuals, is an opinion. We have an opinion of the things that we say, the things that we do. We have an opinion on the people that we're with. We have an opinion on the religion that we believe. We have an opinion. And in those opinions, we can either be given the full range in understanding how we get to accomplish our goals, or we can be given opinions as to why we believe the things we believe. Unbothered babe. Nah, see. See. So we see those different changes, we see those different outcomes. And basically having an idea or an understanding of a certain situation. By understanding your situation, by understanding your circumstances, you are able to have an opinion on different things. You're able to have an opinion on your own life, but it's always based on your experiences. And experiences is something that you can't control at times, but it is something that shapes and molds you into the person you are today. It's your opinion that being a Christian is the best life. It's your opinion that being an atheist is the best life. That's your opinion. But there is a difference between opinion and fact. There is a difference between living your life with purpose or living your life as a game. It's your opinion. See, the thing is, when we get to serve God and understand who God is, we get an idea of what it means to serve God. We get an idea of what it means to serve the Father. And our opinions tend to change because the opinions that we used to have in our lives, the things that we used to look at and see and say that this is just what it is, we have a different idea, we have a different outlook on it. And the reason why we have a different outlook on it is because of the fact that we are learning and understanding more than we did before. By you understanding more, by you spending more time in the Word, excuse me, by spending more time in the Word, by spending more time with God, you are able to change your opinion. See, before you had a chance to understand, you know, what kind of foods you like, you didn't really have an option to understand the foods you like. See, when you were a child, your mother, your father, your grandmother, whomever, your guardian, fed you some generic food that was going to give you nourishment, food that was going to give you strength. It didn't matter whether you liked it or not, you were going to eat it. Even if you tried to spit it out your mouth, you will be force fed this food. And as you're force fed this food, you're going to have no option but to finish it so that you can get it over with. Or sometimes you'll be given food and you will enjoy it and you will love it. And it gets to the point where you want more, but there is no more, so you cry about it. See, those were the times when you didn't have an option in life. It was given to you as it was given to you. There was no other way for you to see it. There was no other way for you to try to stop it. That's just how it was. That's how it was when you were a child. You were a baby. As you got older, your opinion changed. You started to enjoy certain types of foods. You started to embellish in certain types of foods. And because you start to enjoy certain types of foods, you then had an option or an opinion of the type of food that you would eat. And then you would always try to make this food because you enjoy it. I come from a very Caribbean household, right? My mother, will always make, the rice and chicken, the stewed chicken, you know, rice and peas, plantain, yam, all that good stuff, right? And I always ate that in my home. So that's one thing that I've always loved. But then I was introduced to Italian food. And I don't know what happened, but there was a change in my opinion. I started to think that Italian food was the best type of food ever. So even in my own home, I find myself making more Italian food than I do make my own Caribbean food. It is not like I can't cook it. Of course I could cook it. I know how to cook it. But it's just a difference in opinion that I started to feel, a difference in opinion that I started to experience. And I kept saying to myself, man, I feel like I'm betraying my people. But that's just a change in my opinion. See, when you have a different type of lifestyle, when you have a different type of understanding, when you have a different type of focus when it comes to your life now, when it comes to your walk with God, you are going to start to have different different types of opinions every day. You're gonna change the way you see things every day because of the fact that you are starting to grow and understand and know who God is. And we need that now more than ever in this society. In this society, change of opinion happens almost every time. We call that flip-flopping. We know people, individuals who once said one thing, stood firmly on that one thing, and then a couple years later, they now change their opinion so that they can reach a different demographic. They change their opinion so they can reach out to different eyes. They don't want to reach the same eyes. That's what they do. That's what they do. Politicians do that all the time. They change their opinion so that they can capture you because we are the pawns. A person who could say, I detest abortions. I hate abortions. But because of the fact that they have individuals, they have people uh, in from different places who they want to get their support, they start to change their tunes. I mean, that's the game. So the question for you today is that are you going to change your tune when you start to realize the truth about God? Are you going to change your tune when you're going to start to realize that God is not just a fairy tale, that he's just not a make-believe character, that the Bible wasn't just a bunch of stories written by a bunch of people and put together to make it seem like this is supposed to be, the end all be all? Are you going to change your opinion when it comes to God's word? Hebrews 10, verse 26 says, "For if we go on sinning deliberately after receiving the knowledge of truth, there is no longer remains a sacrifice for sin." If we go on sinning deliberately, going on sinning deliberately or sinning deliberately is pretty much saying to the fact that you do not see the truth that is before you. You do not want to accept the truth. And because you don't want to accept the truth, you want to continue to go on with your life, hoping that no one will ever mention or bring up the fact that you understand or you are exposed to the belief of God. So sometimes we want to continue to make up stories. We want to continue to make up excuses as to why. Well, we always talk about that there's a God, but how you know for sure that there's a God? How do you know for sure that God exists? How do you know? And then when you start to have those experiences, when you start to have those days where you go through a hard time and then boom, something happens, and you can only say, man, it's only because of the grace of God I was able to get through this. You start saying those things because you start to trust those things. You start to believe in those things. And then all of a sudden you want to change your opinion because someone has told you something else. Someone has given you a different idea. See, this is what Satan does. Satan is always going to take the truth of God and twist it and turn it in order to fit his narrative. He's always going to try to switch it and change it and unfold it so that way you can start to see things from a different angle. See, that's exactly what he did with Adam and Eve. See, Adam and Eve had one opinion. Their opinion was a fact that God told them that all the trees in the garden, this is the one tree you shouldn't touch, the tree of good and evil. If you touch it, you will surely die. That's what God told them. God wasn't lying about that. This was put in the garden for a reason. And had them not touch it, we probably would have been still in paradise. But because of the fact that they touched it, ate it, they did die. They died later on. But you see, they had an opinion of what the tree was supposed to symbolize. They had an opinion of what the tree was supposed to be about. And then all of a sudden, Satan came and changed their opinion. Satan came and introduced us a next scenario, a different scenario. Satan came and said, hey, I know God said that you shouldn't touch this tree, right? And he said, you know why God said not to touch this tree? He said that because he wanted you guys not to be like him, knowing good and evil. Don't you want to be like God to know good and evil? Why do you think that God said that you shouldn't know good and evil? Does that mean, do you understand that means that he is keeping something from you? He is splitting you guys apart from him and just reality. Do you understand why he said not to touch the fruit, not to eat the fruit? He doesn't want you to be like him. He doesn't want you to be a God. That's why he wants you to be a servant and tend to his garden. You can almost imagine what kind of conversation Satan had with Eve in order to inject her with another opinion, an opinion that was going to contradict the fact that God had given her. See, here in society today, we are given opinions to contradict the facts that are in front of us. That's why we have so many different outlets that give out the news. That's why we have so many different alliances that are established because of these different news sources. People who watch Fox religiously don't watch CNN, and people who watch CNN religiously don't watch Fox. And God forbid if you even bring up something that is between the two networks. Perfect example. When Roseanne got fired, well, canceled. Her show got canceled. And what I found so hilarious about that whole situation, I'm happy, by the way, I'm happy that she got canceled because I mean, the next day, Fox started to mention The View, another show on the same network that has been bashing President Trump for weeks, for months, right? Um, and they mentioned the show, and someone mentioned something about you should boycott ABC for the double standards, and it would without a second, there were people were posting, creating memes of that same thing, and I'm sitting, you can sit there and almost watch when the brainwashing begins. Because then everybody started to mention that you didn't want to boycott ABC before, you didn't want to cancel The View before, but now that something of them is gone, something of the other side has to go too. And that's just the reality that we're in. That's the society that we're in right now. That's how opinion can contradict the facts. That is why we have to be so mindful and so ready to take on the challenges that are before us as Christians. As Christians, we are going to be given tests. And during these tests are going to help us, train us, and prepare us. But if we go on deliberately sinning after receiving knowledge, see, that's why it says after and not before. Because before you received knowledge, you were sinning and you didn't even know you were sinning. Bible talks about that. I didn't know what commit adultery was until I read it for myself. I didn't know that bearing false witness was a bad thing until I read it. In other words, once you start to get knowledge, once that knowledge is being delivered to you, once you're starting to understand that knowledge, then you will start to get more of an understanding. You will start to put together the pieces of the puzzle much better. But if you are not doing that, if you fail to do that, then you are basically coming to that conclusion, coming to that realization, coming to that understanding that this is clearly not the right path. Where you start to see things from a different perspective. It's not the right path. That is why God says to us that we have to stop sinning once we receive the knowledge of truth. Once that knowledge of truth becomes evident to you, then it takes no time for you to get in a better, clearer picture. This morning, I want to encourage us to get a clear picture, to get a clear picture of the truth. And this picture of the truth, this clear voice, this understanding is something that takes place over time. But as long as you're in the right direction, as long as you're in the right spot, the right place in your life, you will be able to withstand the storm. You'll be able to withstand the struggles. When you're able to withstand the struggles, you're able to get through the difficulties. You'll be able to get through those hard times. There's no other way of looking at it. There's no other way of contemplating it. Once you've grown accustomed to understanding truth and hearing the truth, Myrna, how you doing? You'll start to get a better idea of your opinion. I've always had an opportunity in life to be grateful for the the ability to serve God. I've always been satisfied with that fact. Because that's an opinion that I've grown to accept. My opinion in God is what serves as purpose for me. Because all